Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I thought I would discuss with you guys one of the common problems I see out there. This is something I mentioned in a video about my own clients and people who get skinny fat, and this whole idea that most guys need to learn to lift faster. You need to learn to lift faster on your main work sets. And even for me, sometimes the only time you might see me going a little bit slow is because I'm fatigued. So if you look at me doing these standing presses, this is after maxing out on the bench press and then doing a bunch of sets of 10 with this. So it might not be super fast, but it's still pretty fast. And this is one of the problems that I see with a lot of guys who start out, is that they get caught up in the whole bodybuilding game, and they start getting advice from guys who are very genetically gifted on copious amounts of substances, who come up with nonsense like move the weight slowly. Okay? That is nonsense that came up in the 80s as a result of Mike Menzer and other people like that the actual scientific research has very, very seriously debunked. Like, that's actually complete garbage information. It's complete garbage information. And accordingly, a lot of guys make the big mistake of assuming that going slow is good form. Whereas what you need to be doing is lifting a weight as fast as you can with good form. Literally as fast as you can. And what needs to be clarified here is, because when I've made these statements, I had a bunch of people say, does that mean you should reduce the weight to move it faster? No. You're confusing speed work, which is dynamic effort work, which I have 2 days dedicated to every week. You're confusing dynamic effort work with lifting faster. Okay, what do I mean by lift faster? I mean, you walk over and you squeeze that bar as hard as you can and you press on every rep like your life depends on it. All right? Now, you guys are going to watch me throughout here, both some of my assistance movements and then some of my ramp ups to maxes and even training maxes and things like that. All these singles that you're going to see me do are above 90% of my 1 rep max. Let me ask you guys a question. If you start hitting a weight that is 90% or higher of your 1 rep max, or hitting a 1 rep max, are you going to just walk over to it and just very casually lift it and leave reps in reserve? Are you going to push or press or pull as hard as you can for a max? Right? Like right here, I've got 502 on the box squat. When I get under this, do you see me taking my time going slow with it? When I set up, I brace tight and I press with everything I have on the way up. So I come down, squat, come to a stop, and I drive up as hard and as fast as I possibly can. Now, that's pretty slow, but that's also a max for me. Okay? It's a 502 box squat off of a 12-inch box with a pause. All right, for me, that's real heavy. That's as fast as I could move it. Now, are you guys telling me when you see people doing this slow stuff? Same here. This is a deficit deadlift off of a 3-inch deficit. Okay, this is hard. This is moving the weight as hard and as fast as I possibly can. These are weights that are above 90%. So here's what I would say to the guys who don't understand. Are you telling me that you can't move your first 4 reps in an 8 or 10 rep set faster than that? Are you telling me that when I'm hitting maxes, that's the fastest you can move a lightweight? Because if you can do 8 reps, that is a stupidly lightweight, right? Let's be realistic here. Let's call stuff whatever we want. 8 reps, 10 reps, and by the way, I do most of my work in that range, right? People who really watch what I do know that I do more 8 to 10 rep sets than I do singles every week. It's not even close. Same thing there. That's above 90%, right? That's as fast as I can possibly move it. So here's what I would say. Are you guys telling me that you can't go faster than that? All right, there you go. Tricep extensions against bands with an overspeed eccentric. Telling me you can't lift that fast? You can't lift a lightweight that fast? With good form? If you can't, that's a problem. And let's come over to the point of what we mean from a genetics perspective. Does anyone know what bad genetics for size and strength are? Anyone know? It's nothing to do with your testosterone levels. Because people with low testosterone only gain muscle slightly slower than guys with high testosterone in the normal range. Okay? It's very minuscule. It's nothing to do with your hormones. It's your muscle fiber distribution. You know why some guys gain muscle easier? They have more fast twitch fibers. You know why some people are better at sports naturally? That's one of the most important characteristics. More fast twitch fibers. That means they can explode harder on every rep. Easily, without thinking about it. So if you are already one of the people who isn't genetically gifted and doesn't explode easily, the very last thing you ever want to do is move a weight slowly. And I think people need to understand the difference of what I mean here. When I say explode the weight, I don't mean with just bad form and just flop. I mean that you need to treat every rep like a 1 rep max. Because they watch too much bodybuilder stuff, and you have to remember these are guys on lots of gear who are often genetically gifted. This is not going to work for the average Joe who's completely clean. It's not going to work. You're going to get slower progress by lifting the weight slower. I don't mean use bad form to flop weight up. I mean stop leaving reps in reserve. Because that's exactly what happens. You put guys on a 10 rep set, they don't start really working hard till the very last rep, right? Everything else, it looks lazy. And that's almost every hard gainer that I see, every guy I meet who is skinny fat starting out when I start coaching them, they're 5 rep, 8 rep, 10 rep sets, they start off really, really lazy. They put no effort into their initial sets. Those are the guys who all flounder on 5x5s, by the way. And it's not because of their genetics, it's because they don't have great genetics and then they train bad to go with it. And training bad doesn't mean you don't follow the program, but what's part of following the program? Doing the lifts correctly. What is the correct way to do a 5x5 bench press, or a 5x5 squat, or a 5x5 overhead press, or a 5x5 pen lay row? What's the correct way to do it? To push as hard as you possibly can starting from rep 1. Because if you're going to get only 25 reps, you're going to get 25 total reps in. What do we know that we usually need to stimulate good muscle growth? At least 25 quality reps in a workout usually is needed for maximum muscle growth, something in that range. Now you can get there from just doing more volume, but some of those programs are relatively low volume. If you don't start focusing on being as explosive on the very first rep of all 25 of those reps in those 5x5, what's going to happen? You're going to get less training stimulus because you're not going to hit your upper threshold fibers initially. You have to stop leaving reps in reserve. You have to stop doing that. You have to hit it hard from the very first rep. As hard and as fast as you can. That means you get in, you dig in tight, you don't get loose, you don't flop around and dance your feet on a bench, you don't let your scapula come apart, you pull in tight, and you treat the very first rep on the first warm-up like it's a 1 rep max. Notice on all these heavy lifts, I'm setting up tight, pulling in, and I'm pushing, pulling, pressing with everything that I have. You need to treat your first rep on a 10 rep set the same way. It needs to explode. You need to grip the bar tight. If you're ever limp wristing a weight, and straps give people a bad habit of doing that, by the way. If you're ever limp wristing a weight, or you do a single rep on anything where you don't pull your core in tight, that's what I'm talking about. That's a problem. That's why you're lifting slow. The reason I put a belt on for benching. You think it's there to not hurt my back? No, it's there to brace my core against to make me explode harder. Because I want better muscle fiber recruitment. Right? The only time you shouldn't be worried about lifting a weight as hard as fast as possible would be during like your GPP work, right? If you're trying to achieve metabolic conditioning, that's different. If you're going to do 10 sets of 10, because you might do 10 sets of 10 on pull-ups as part of your metabolic conditioning. During the middle of your cardio, that's part of your cardio. Okay, that's fine because you're going for conditioning. But if you were trying to get as big and as strong as possible from each individual set, You have to get tight and explosive and grip the bar and press with everything that you have starting from rep 1, or you're going to have to double your training volume in order to grow. That's your only two options. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.